you for agreeing to do this interview with me today. I really appreciate it. And I'm really excited to know more about your journey.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Can you tell me about yourself and your background?
Sure. I run my own virtual functional medicine practice that services patients from all over the world. I studied as a pharmacist in my undergrad and then my master's, and then I did an MPhil in bioscience enterprise at Cambridge University. And then, through my work in the healthcare space, from hospital setting to pharma industry to consulting, I soon realized that the way we run our healthcare system is really a sick care model, and we're not really doing any benefits to our patients who are suffering with chronic disease. And so from there, I decided what came across functional medicine and really just never looked back.
You talked about functional medicine. Can you give more details about it?
Yeah, sure. So functional medicine, in the simplest terms, is the science of creating health. When we look at the healthcare model that currently runs, right, it's really based on disease. So we're looking for disease and we're figuring out how to address the disease. But we really never think about, well, hang on a second, what does the actually body need to create health, right? We want to focus on prevention as well as treatment of disease, not just focusing on the disease itself. What is the root cause of the illness, right? Not plastering symptoms and hoping for the best, but looking at our nutrition, looking at our relationships, looking at our sleep, looking at our movement, looking at our, toxic or chemical exposure, looking at our transgenerational influences and epigenetic markers.
Did you always know that you would open up a clinic?
Ever since I was a kid, I would play doctor. And when I wanted to go to university, I really wanted to study medicine. My parents, my mom is a pharmacist, my dad is a chemist, but he's a business owner. And they said to me, you know what? Why don't you study pharmacy first, and then see how you like medicine, and then from there maybe jump into medicine. But when I finished my degree, and then I thought, you know what? I want to work at the beginning, at the innovation side of things. I want to work in the lab, and then I want to work with pharma. Look, they're putting out all these medicines, they're saving lives. And I got into that world, and then after spending a good 10 years probably in the pharma world, I quickly realized that, we're not, people are only getting sicker and no one is getting any better. And I just really wanted to get back to clinical practice. I was like, I really went into this because I wanted to work with people. And I'm as far away from the person, the patient, as possible right now. My husband saw how unhappy I was, and he said, "You know what? Tony Robbins is coming to London. Why don't we go?" Mark Hyman, who's the head of the Institute of Functional Medicine, was attending, and he gave a talk about functional medicine. And my mind was blown. I was like, "This is what we need to do." I literally came back from that 6-day retreat and walked into my boss's office, and I said to her, "I'm quitting." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was a senior vice president of a consulting firm. I was doing superb, but it did not align with what I wanted. It's an intensive training to do functional medicine, because you have to really unlearn everything you've learned about medicine and look at it from a complete different perspective. I'm a very immersive learner, so I signed up for mentorship programs, and surely enough, people were getting better. So I just knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I didn't look back. I did join an integrative clinic at the time being. But the whole concept of functional medicine and integrative practice and alternative medicine, however, all these random names, creates a lot of division. And so people are not very collaborative. And when COVID happened and we were all under lockdown, I couldn't go to that practice anymore. I sought out he's a business consultant, and he's a medic himself. So he's an ER physician who studied functional medicine. And he had an institute, and he trains clinicians how to build the practice. So I was like, you know what? I'm stuck at home and I have to figure out a solution. I have to become virtual. I don't know anything about setting up a clinic. So I'm going to just lean on an expert. So he was my coach for a whole year, and he helped me build my practice from literally zero to where it is today. That's why I say coaching is so critical in your journey, because you're going to make mistakes, but at least if you have a coach, you can expedite that process.
Can you like tell me a typical day at work for you?
I start about 8:39 in the morning. I have a good hour where I'm really kind of planning my day because I know which consultations. So typically I will have somewhere between 4 to 6 consultations per day. After I'm done with my sessions, that's really family time. So typically I have one day a week where I don't take any consults, which is Monday, and Monday is my sort of admin day where I do all my write-ups, because in our type of work, our follow-ups and our prescriptions are pretty detailed and complex. So we talk about, well, this is the morning routine I want you to incorporate, or this is the form of exercise I want you to take, or here's your nutrition plan. So we go really into a lot of details, and then this is really where I pass it on to the coaches. So and this is where the coaches play a really important role, because this is, they get to know your lifestyle and then help you make changes in a very manageable and sustainable way.
I
Yeah.
also want to know more about the challenges you faced.
Like for me, failure is just part of the learning process. And I'm very grateful for my parents, because that's what they instilled in us. They were both entrepreneurs. They also are refugees. They're Nakba survivors from Palestine. Their motto is you keep going. I saw my parents grow from zero to what they are today. When it came to my career, whether before in the consulting and hospital setting, they were always my sounding board. And then when I came into this was obviously very different from what I've done before. I had a lot of mistakes. And, I would say probably some of my biggest mistakes, not asking for help early on, taking on too much and burning out, um, not setting boundaries. So important to set boundaries, in any work that you do, right? But particularly in the healthcare space, because you're so keen to help people that you really blur all the boundaries, and then it becomes very difficult because now your work becomes into your personal life. And then honestly, the other big mistakes was investing in marketing, advertising, kind of people or companies that claim to be able to take you to the next level or support you to the next level, but really approach every client they have in a cookie cutter approach. So I really see mistakes as just, it's the quickest way to achieve success, right? This is really, you have to make mistakes. Everybody wants to be the millionaire overnight, right? But it doesn't really work that way. It requires grit and tenacity and and perseverance. But it's just so more fulfilling and rewarding when you look back and you're like, oh my God, I did all these mistakes, but I learned. So now I know better. I really quickly learned that trust your intuition and never make decisions out of fear. Because if I reflect, every decision I made where it was a mistake is because I was in a stressed out, burnt out, fearful place. And so when it comes from a place of fear, it's likely to not be the right decision.
Again, thank you very much for answering all of
Yep.
them and sharing your journey with me. It was really nice to hear all of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.